So today we're going to do a yoga basics class, and it's going to be very grounded and calming for our nervous system, just to help us release any tension or fatigue we might be feeling right now. And hopefully you're able to have some props with you, maybe a blanket or maybe a beach towel if you have that, and a couple of blocks. Or if you are following my Facebook page, you can also use thick books, and we will talk about those at the end of class if you had been following that post. So let's get started in a comfortable seated position and probably up on some support. So making sure you have a blanket or one of the blocks underneath your sit bones. And just have your hands out on your knees with your palms facing up, and gently curl the tips of your fingers in towards your palms. And then either close down your eyes or gaze off the tip of your nose softly at a single point. And we'll begin to connect to our breath. So take a deep, full breath inhale through your nose, and then open your mouth and sigh your exhale out. Do that again, deepest full breath inhale, bring the breath up as high as you can, and then big clearing sighing exhale out your mouth. And then sealing your lips, sipping your inhale into the lowest point of your ribs and pause. And then continue to inhale, bring it into the middle of your chest and pause. And then bring your breath all the way up to your collarbones and pause and hold there. And then again, open your mouth and sigh your exhale out, releasing your exhale down as low as you can. And then reseal your lips. And this time as you inhale, just expand into the side ribs, the side lungs, as you bring your breath all the way up to your collarbones, the back of your throat. And then keep your lips sealed as you slowly begin to exhale in reverse, and feel like you're using a little control, pulling the front side of your body in toward the back body on your exhale. Before again, beginning that process of inhaling, lifting your breath through your center, up through your heart space to the back of your throat. And then keep that lift, that fullness in your heart as you begin to slowly exhale all the way down as low as you can, sitting up taller on your exhale. And we'll continue to breathe in this way for a few cycles of breath, just using our breath to clear out our minds and come into the present moment. Recognizing that sometimes the unknown can bring us into a fear space. So using this time to connect to the truth that all is well. And as we breathe into this knowledge, all is well, we begin to fill our heart space with generosity, with gratitude. Also recognizing that gratitude erases all fear. So just taking a few moments to breathe into this beautiful space. And then bring your hands together into Anjali Mudra and plug your thumbs right into your heart. And then we'll open our time together today by singing Om 3 times. Inhale. Om. Om. And then inhale, sweep your arms up alongside your ears with your palms facing inward. Gently lift your gaze, and if it feels okay on your neck, you might move your head side to side a few times. Just already beginning to feel like you're relaxing any tension that you might have been holding in your neck. And then inhale, reach your fingertips up higher. As you exhale, come into a side stretch, dropping your right fingertips down. And again, it might feel nice to gaze up and down and release your neck a few times before settling in and choosing whether you look up towards your fingertips or down towards your mat. And then inhale, come all the way back up to center. As you exhale, just switch sides, dropping your left fingertips down. Again, you might choose to release your neck a few times, gazing up and down before settling in. And then inhale, bring your arms all the way back up. As you exhale, release your arms behind you and interlock your fingers and create a fist and gently pull that fist down. As you drop your chin towards your chest, take an inhale breath and really lift your sternum up towards your chin rather than trying to create any tension at the back of your neck. And then again, it might feel good to move your neck side to side. So you could drop your chin toward one collarbone and then the other. And then pausing in the center. Inhale, release your interlace, sweeping your fingertips back up. And then as you exhale, we'll move into a twist, just coming into a twist to our right, but then bring your chin over towards your left shoulder. So again, releasing the neck as you sit up nice and tall on your inhale breath and settle into your twist on your exhale. And then unwind and come back to center and inhale, sweep your arms back up. And then exhale, just switch sides again, coming into your gentle twist and drop your chin over towards your right shoulder. And then inhale, sweep your arms back up, coming back to center. As you exhale, come into cactus arms. So bend your elbows, stacking your hands over your elbows. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, begin to bring your arms closer together. Maybe they eventually touch. And then inhale, bring your arms back out into cactus arms. And exhale, bring your arms closer together. And then inhale, bring your arms back out to your sides. And exhale, bring your arms closer together. And then stack your left arm on top of the right. You can stay like this, or maybe add on from here, dropping your fingertips to the tops of your shoulders. Maybe some of you can try to bring the backs of your hands together, or maybe cross at your wrist and bring your palms together. Wherever you're at, really lift your elbows. Stay connected to pulling the front side of your body in towards your back body and sit up nice and tall as you breathe. Be here for another inhale. And then as you exhale, release back into your cactus arms. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, begin to bring your arms back together. Maybe they touch. And then inhale, bring your arms back out to your sides. And then exhale, begin to bring your arms close together. And then inhale, bring your arms back out. And then as you exhale, bring your arms closer together and then stack your right arm on top of the left. You can stay like this, or maybe try dropping your fingertips to the tops of your shoulders. Maybe bring the backs of your hands together. Maybe cross at your wrists and bring your palms together. Again, wherever you're at, lift your elbows up, sit up nice and tall as you hold and breathe. Be here for another inhale. And then as you exhale, just begin to unwind. And then inhale, sweep your arms all the way back up. And then open your mouth and sigh your exhale out, just releasing your arms down to your sides. And then we'll come off of our support. So just set your support to the side of your mat. And we'll eventually recline. So some of you might want to have a blanket or your towel behind for a little padding for your head. And then scoot up to the short edge of your mat. Have your feet separated hip distance apart and bring your hands onto your shins. Gently pull on your shins and sit up nice and tall and find that length in your spine. Keep all that length as you release your arms alongside your knees. Take an inhale breath and then exhale, slowly begin to lower, keeping that connection to your core all the way down to the ground. Once you come down, reach your arms up alongside your ears, straighten your legs, and then interlace your fingers and flip your palms away from you as you point your toes down. Arch your lower back away from the earth, giving yourself a big body yawn. Just releasing into your lower back. And then release your arms down to your sides with your palms facing up. And just be here for a moment, checking into the sensations of the back body, being held in the support of the earth. And then slowly begin to bend your knees, bringing your knees in towards your torso, and either wrap your arms around your shins, or it might feel better to slide your hands behind your knees to hug your knees in. And maybe rock gently side to side a few times, checking in with how your lower back is feeling. And then bring your knees away from your torso and drop your kneecaps into the palms of your hands and begin to circle your knees over to the right side and then in toward the midline of your body and out to the left. Let's do that 2 more times on your own. You might close down your eyes and just really feel into that lower back, your outer hips as you make these big looping circles. Once you come back to center, we'll simply switch directions with our circle. So circle your knees out to the left, in towards your torso, and out to the right. Just do that 2 more times. Again, just make this really meditative movements, releasing into the lowest point of your spine. And then pausing in the center, again, hug your knees in towards your torso, release your tailbone down. And then keep your right knee bent in towards you. Just release your left foot down onto the ground, keeping your left knee bent. And then interlace your fingers around your right shin and begin to hug your right knee in towards your torso. Relax the tops of the shoulders away from your ears. Just come into that really serene and relaxed expression on your face as you loosen into that right hip. And then keep your left foot on the ground and come into half of a happy baby pose on the right. So have the sole of your right foot facing the ceiling, stack your right heel over your bent right knee, and bring your right elbow on the inside of your right knee and reach around and grab the outside of your right shin, ankle, or maybe the outside of your flexed right foot. Gently pull down as if you could bring the top of your thigh onto the earth. Just checking in with your jaw and your neck here. Make sure it stays really relaxed. And we'll be here for a few cycles of breath, and you can choose to stay exactly like this. Or if you check in with your pelvis and your lower back and you can keep everything in balance, you might choose to straighten your left leg out long onto your mat. If you're doing that, flex your foot so that your left toes are looking at you and you feel like you're staying grounded on the left side of your body. But it might feel best to really just keep your left foot on the ground. If your left leg is straight, go ahead and re-bend the knee, and then we'll move into the beginning stages of thread the needle. So stack your right ankle on top of your left knee, and then place your right hand on your right knee and gently press that knee away from you. And again, we'll hold for a few breaths, and staying like this is wonderful. You might try to lift your left heel up slightly so that you can slide your left heel closer to your left sit bone and continue to press your right knee away. Just sinking into the backside of your body. Release your exhale into your right groin, your right hip. And then bring your arms back into your cactus arms on the ground this time, and then stack your right knee on top of the left so that your knee bones are stacked. And then hop your hips over to the right so you can drop your knees down to the left. And then choose for yourself whether you continue to gaze up at the ceiling, or if it feels okay on your neck, you might turn and gaze to your right. Let's all take a deep, full breath. Inhale through the nose. And then open your mouth and sigh your exhale out, releasing your right shoulder blade closer to the earth. And be here for one more inhale. And then as you exhale, begin to bring your knees back up to center. Hop your hips back into the middle of your mat. Uncross your knees and then hug your knees back into your body, either hugging around the shins or sliding your hands behind the knees, gently rocking side to side. And then we'll do all of those poses on the left. So drop your right foot down to the ground, keeping your right knee bent. And then interlace your fingers around your left shin and begin to hug your left knee in towards your left armpit chest. Again, remind your face to stay relaxed here. Drop the tops of your shoulders away from your ears as you hold and breathe. And keeping your right foot on the earth, we'll come into half of a happy baby pose on the left. So stack your left heel over your bent left knee, and bring your left elbow on the inside of your left knee and reach around and grab the outside edge of your left shin, ankle, or the outside edge of your foot, gently pulling down as if you could bring the top of your thigh onto the earth. Just breathing into that left groin, left outer hip, and choosing to stay here. Or maybe if you can keep that balance in your pelvis, you might choose to straighten your right leg and flex your right foot so your toes look at you. But it's always great to just keep your right foot on the ground. Be here for one more breath. And then as you release, we'll come into the beginning stages of thread the needle. So stack your left ankle on top of your bent right knee. So if you straighten your leg, you need to rebend the knee. And then place your left hand up on your left knee and gently press that knee away from you. Again, remind the tops of your shoulders to stay relaxed as you breathe into your left hip. And then stay exactly like this, or maybe lift your right heel up enough that you can slide your right heel closer to your right sit bone, and then place your right heel back down. Be here for one more inhale. And as you exhale, come back into those cactus arms on your back, and then stack your left knee on top of your right, and then hop your hips over to the left so you can drop your knees to the right. And then gazing up at the ceiling, you can stay just like this, or maybe if your neck feels okay, you can turn to your left. And then let's all take a deep, full breath. Inhale through the nose. And then open your mouth and sigh your exhale out, releasing your left shoulder blade closer to the ground. Be here for one more inhale. And then as you exhale, begin to bring your knees back up to center. Hop your hips back into the middle of your mat. Uncross your knees. And then again, hug your knees in towards your torso, releasing your sit bones down. Gently rock side to side. And then release your feet down to the ground and roll onto your right side and press your left hand into the earth so you can come up, and we'll come into a child's pose. So if you know what that is and you just want to move directly into your child's pose, choose to do that. You might need a little extra padding for the tops of your knees or your feet. You could always open out your towel or your blanket and have it in the middle of your mat, and then come onto your blanket and separate your knees about the width of the mat. Bring your toes together behind you and begin to drop your hips back towards your heels so that your torso eventually drops closer in between your thighs. You could also have support your book or your block underneath your forehead as you really reach your fingertips forward, feeling that connection to relaxing your third eye point into support. And we'll be here for a few cycles of breath. Again, just resting in gratitude for this time that we can give ourselves, knowing it is so important to show ourselves kindness and compassion so we can move forward from that place of strength and love. We'll be here for 2 more cycles of breath, really releasing into your low back, your groin creases. And as you inhale, feel like you're filling up the backside of your body. And exhale, just sink your heart closer to the earth. And then we'll slowly begin to release, and we'll meet in a tabletop position. So maybe you need to clear away support out underneath you. In tabletop position, line your shoulders up over your wrists, your hips over your knees. Your knees are separated about hip distance apart. And then spread your fingers really wide apart and begin to press your palms down so much that you broaden across your back. So your shoulder blades are moving away from one another. And then pull in your lowest belly muscles up towards your spine. So you're creating a strong and firm tabletop. Imagine a vase of flowers balanced right in the middle of your back. And then continue to press your palms down. As you inhale, begin to tip your sit bones up and gaze up, opening your throat. And then as you exhale, begin to press the floor away, arch your back, and pull in through your core. And then inhale, tip your sit bones up, your gaze lifts, and exhale, round in. And let's do this several times on our own. So find your own pace and your own rhythm. Just checking in with the entire length of your spine and working out any kinks or tightness you might be holding on to. You might shift your hips side to side, release your neck. Just taking some organic movements here as you breathe. And then move through one more complete cycle. And then return to your tabletop position. Adding spinal balancing here, gaze at a single point in front of you and extend your right leg back behind you at the height of your hip. Really flex your right foot and kick into your right heel as you bring your left arm up alongside your ear with your palm facing in. So your pinky finger is toward the earth. Keep that connection to pulling your lowest core muscles up towards your spine. Be here for one more inhale. And then as you exhale, release your limbs back down, finding your tabletop position. And then switching sides, extend your left leg back behind you at the height of your hip, flexing your foot as you feel that internal rotation of your left thigh toward the right, bringing your right arm up alongside your ear with your palm facing in. Really reaching beyond your right fingertips, down your back body, and out through your left heel. Be here for another inhale. And then as you exhale, release your limbs back down to the ground, finding your tabletop position. And then bring your knees together so that your knees and calves touch. And then separate your hands really wide apart with your fingertips pointing away from you. And then begin to drop your hips side to side. And don't try to force this at all. So you're just taking some gentle movements that warm up the IT bands, the outer hips. And then pausing in the center, bring your hands back underneath your shoulders and return to your tabletop position. So separate your knees out, gazing forward. And then inhale, lift your right hand up, sweeping your right fingertips up so your palm is facing away from you. As you exhale, weave your right arm behind the left, coming onto your right shoulder, and begin to walk your left fingertips up above your head. And stay just like this, or maybe wrap your left fingertips around towards your right hip, or further rolling onto the back of your head. Using your breath here to settle into your pose. Be here for one more inhale. And then as you exhale, slowly begin to unwind, coming back into your tabletop position, stacking your shoulders over your wrists. And then we'll simply switch sides. So as you inhale, sweep your left fingertips up, your palm is facing away. And then exhale, sweep your left arm behind the right, coming onto your left shoulder, and begin to walk your right fingertips up toward the top of your mat. And stay just like this, or maybe wrap your right fingertips behind you to the top of your left hip. Just breathing into your shoulders, your waist here. Be here for one more inhale. And then as you exhale, begin to unwind, coming back into your tabletop position, but then moving into a puppy dog stretch. So walk your hands way out in front of you so that you can drop your head between your arms as you keep your hips lifted over your knees. This is also a great place that you could have a block underneath your forehead for support for the back of your neck and your shoulders. Just taking a few breaths here, feeling like you're opening under the armpits, the shoulder blades as you breathe. And then bringing your hands back underneath your shoulders, we'll release back into our child's pose. So separate your knees, bring your toes together as you bow in. Again, just rest in gratitude here for a few breaths. And then looking up to the top of the mat, slide through to lay onto your belly, and then reach your arms up alongside your ears with your palms facing in, so your pinky fingers are on the floor. Hug your thighs in toward one another. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, lift your arms and your legs and fly away from your mat. Really reaching beyond your fingertips, down your body, and out the tips of your toes. Be here for one more inhale. And as you exhale, lower your limbs back down, and then reach your arms alongside you with your palms facing down, so your hands are by your hips. Again, hug your thighs in. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, lift your arms and legs, reaching your fingertips toward your toes. Really move your collarbones away from one another as you shine your heart forward. Be here for one more inhale. And then exhale, slowly lower back down to the ground. Plant your hands mid-torso so your thumbs are by your rib cage, and then tuck under your toes and slowly begin to roll into a child's pose with your toes tucked under this time. So it's an active child's pose. You're pressing into the balls of your feet, awakening the ball mounds and the arches. As you continue to reach your fingertips so far forward that your inner wrists are lifting up and away from the mat. And then continue to press your palms down. Just begin to lift your hips, and we'll come into a downward facing dog. So create that really wide stance with your hands and feet far apart, and then check in with your hamstrings. If it feels really tight, you might separate your feet out the entire width of the mat. Slightly turn your toes in, heels out, and again, feel that sensation of broadening across your back. You might choose to further warm up the hamstrings by pedaling out your legs like you're riding a bicycle, bending one knee and then the other. Be here for one more inhale. And then exhale, release back into your child's pose. So separate your knees, bring your toes together, and bow in. Again, just breathe into the back side of your body, around the back side of your heart as you inhale. And sink your heart closer to the earth on your exhale. And then gazing up to the top of the mat, slide through to lay onto your belly, and we'll come into Cobra Pose. So have your hands mid-torso so your thumbs are near your rib cage as you hug your elbows in. Ground through the tops of your feet so your toenails are on the floor. Hug your thighs in. As you inhale, begin to loop your shoulders back and lift your head and heart, coming into your Cobra Pose. And then lower your forehead back down to the ground, tuck under your toes, and again, roll into your child's pose with your toes tucked under. Then press your palms down, lift your hips, and return to your downward facing dog. Again, it might feel good to pedal out your legs, shake out your head here. And then gazing up to the top of the mat, begin to walk your feet all the way forward, ending up with your feet hip distance apart and parallel. And then inhale, lift up halfway to lengthen your spine from tailbone to crown. As you exhale, begin to fold in, and we'll stay here, creating a little elbow box above our head. So grip opposite elbows. You might bend your knees here a lot and completely take your hamstrings out of it. You could also sway side to side, just feeling like your torso is draping over your thighs. And then bring your hands onto your hips, hug your elbows in, and slowly come up to standing. Maybe if it feels okay on your neck, you look up and back slightly, opening across your heart. And then bring your head back to center. Step your feet closer together, and we'll come into Tadasana mountain pose. So bring your hands into Anjali Mudra at your heart. And then you might rock back and forth a few times, too far forward into the balls of your feet and back into your heels, eventually landing right in the middle of your feet. So you can equally root into all four corners of your feet. Again, feel that connection to the engagement of your thighs. Slightly pull in through your core so your tailbone is neutral, in line with the earth. Feeling like you're pulling energy from the earth through the midline of your body and beyond your crown. That's all. Take a deep, full breath, inhale through the nose. And then open your mouth and sigh your exhale out. And then finding your blocks or your books, just have them at the top of your mat near your pinky toes. And we'll come back into our Tadasana. So equally grounding into our feet, feeling strength in your thighs. And just imagine that vase of flowers right on the crown of your head. And then inhale, sweep your arms up alongside your ears with your palms facing in. As you exhale, begin to hinge at your hips. You can always keep a bend in your knees as your fingertips come down to your blocks. Then inhale, look up to lengthen. As you exhale, bend your knees and lunge your left toes way back behind you. Drop down onto your left knee and flip over and ground to the top of your left foot. And then maybe flip your blocks up on the highest height and keep your blocks right here, or maybe you slide them back by your hips. Just checking to make sure that your right knee is directly in line with your right heel. You can always add more support underneath your left knee if you need to. And stay just like this, or maybe your hands come onto your right knee, maybe eventually up alongside your ears. Wherever you're at, really press into the middle of your right heel. You might eventually gaze up and slightly open your throat. If you're doing that, drop your tongue into your lower palate as you breathe all the way up to your collarbones. Be here for one more inhale. As you exhale, begin to release, and we'll come into the half split. So you might have your blocks right near your hips already. As you begin to shift your hips back, straighten your right leg and slide your right heel out in front of you so your right toes are looking at you. And then scissoring at your inner thighs, right hip is slightly back, left hip is slightly forward. And if you can keep all that integrity of the pose, you might choose to walk your blocks or your fingertips up and bow in. Continue to hug your outer left hip in toward the midline of your body, so you're lifting your torso up and away from your strong right thigh. And again, just releasing your neck here. You can move your head side to side. Relax your jaw as you take these slow, even breaths through your nose. And then bringing your blocks back underneath your shoulders, re-ground your right foot so your knee is over your ankle, and then tuck under your left toes, straighten your left leg, begin to hop your left toes all the way up to the top of the mat. Then inhale, look up to lengthen, and exhale, fold into Uttanasana. Then keep pressing your feet into the floor. Reach your arms out to the side and leading with lift in your heart. Come all the way back up to standing, reaching your fingertips up. Maybe your gaze comes up. And then exhale, bring your hands together. Slide your thumbs back down to heart center, just standing in the stillness of Tadasana here. Breathing into that beautiful heart center, that place of peace and calmness. And then inhale, sweep your arms up. Maybe your gaze lifts. And then exhale, strong thighs, flat back as your fingertips come all the way down to your blocks. And then inhale, look up to lengthen. As you exhale, bend your knees and lunge your right toes way back behind you. Drop down onto your right knee, flip over and ground to the top of your right foot. You might flip your blocks up on the highest height and just stay here. Maybe slide your blocks back by your hips. You might need padding for your knee, so add that in. Just check and make sure your left knee is in line with your left heel. And you might add on from there, bringing your hands onto your left knee, maybe sweeping your arms up alongside your ears. Wherever you're at, keep pressing your left foot into the earth. Feel like your left sit bone is moving away from your mat. Maybe your gaze comes up and you really open your throat. Be here for one more inhale. And then as you exhale, begin to release, and we'll come into the half split. So have your blocks near your hips. As you shift your hips back, straighten your left leg and slide your left heel out in front of you with your left toes looking at you. And scissoring at your inner thighs, left hip is slightly back, right hip is slightly forward. And you can stay just like this, or maybe begin to walk your blocks up and bow in.
Keep flexing your left foot the entire time. So you're pressing into your left heel and creating strength in your left thigh. Again, you might shake out your head, relax your neck as you breathe here slowly. And then bringing your blocks back underneath your shoulders, reground your left foot so your knee is over the ankle, and then tuck under your right toes, straighten your right leg. Begin to hop your toes all the way back up to the top of the mat. Then inhale, look up to lengthen, and exhale, fold into Uttanasana. Then reach your arms out to your sides. Come all the way back up to standing into Urdhva Hastasana. Fingertips reach up. And then exhale. Bring your hands together and slide your thumbs back down to heart center, connecting to Tadasana. So again, feeling that connection to being rooted into the support of the earth as you pull that line of energy beyond your crown. And then we'll move into balance, coming into tree pose. So you might try starting with your hands at your hips and then ground into your left foot so you can pivot around onto the ball of your right. So your right heel is leaning on your left shin. You can always just stay right here and gaze at a single point. You might be able to bring your hands back into your heart. Maybe add leg variations where you bring your foot onto your shin or reach down and grab your ankle and place it into the inseam of your left thigh. Continue to hug your outer left hip in toward the midline of your body so you're growing even taller. And from there, you might add arm variations out to your side, maybe up alongside your ears. Continue to root into your left heel so you're growing up nice and tall. Be here for one more breath. And then exhale, slowly begin to release back into your mountain pose, thumbs plugging into your heart. And then we'll switch sides. So you might start with your hands at your hips. So grounding into your right foot, pivot around onto the ball of your left. Just gazing at a single point, you could stay here. Maybe bring your hands back into heart center. You could also add leg variations where you bring the sole of your foot onto your shin or maybe reach down, grab your ankle and place it on the inside of your right thigh. And from there, you could choose to add arm variations out to your side, up alongside your ears, really rooting into your right foot so you can stand up and rise taller. Be here for one more inhale. And then exhale, slowly begin to release back into your mountain pose, rooting into all four corners of your feet. You might close down your eyes, again, just tapping into that place of compassion and gratitude and strength right at your heart. And then inhale, sweep your arms back up alongside your ears into Urdhva Hastasana. And then exhale, begin to hinge at your hips, dropping your fingertips down to your shins or blocks. Then inhale, look up to lengthen. As you exhale, bend your knees enough that you can plant your hands on the ground and then step all the way back to your downward facing dog. Again, just pedal out your legs a few times. Notice how you've really opened up the backside of the body. Be here for an inhale breath. And then as you exhale, release into your child's pose. This time you might keep your knees together and slide your hands back by your heels with your palms facing up. You could even grab some support for underneath your forehead here. But your knees may not be happy when they're bent and together, so you can always separate them out if you need to. Just taking a few moments here to breathe into the backside of your body. And then keeping your chin tucked in, slowly roll up to a seated position and then sit off to either side of your feet so you can bring your legs out in front of you And then come into a tabletop position or a reverse tabletop position. Separate your feet out, hip distance apart, and walk your hands back behind you with your fingertips pointed towards your low back or maybe pointed away from you if that feels better on your wrists. And then scoop up your heart, press your feet down, begin to lift your hips up in line with your knees. If it feels okay on your neck, you might drop your head back. And let's add a couple of lion's breaths here. So inhale deeply. As you exhale, stick your tongue all the way out and roll your eyes to the back of your head. Do that one more time. And then slowly lower your hips back down to the ground. And then scoot up to the short edge of your mat and find your block or your book. Make sure it's near you so you can have it when you recline. Again, sit up nice and tall. Find some length in your spine. Release your arms alongside your knees. Take an inhale breath and then exhale. Slowly begin to lower. Again, staying connected to your core strength all the way down. Once you come down, reach your arms up alongside your ears, straighten your legs. Again, just give yourself that big body on, point your toes down. And then we'll move into a supported bridge pose. So find your block and then bend your knees and slide your heels closer to your sit bones, making sure that your feet are separated out hip distance apart with your big toes slightly turned in. And begin to press your feet down so you can lift your hips up high enough to slide that block underneath you at whatever height might work for you. If you're using a book, you might just choose to have it flat, of course. And then have your arms down to your sides with your palms facing up. And begin to tuck your shoulder blades in closer together so you're really scooping up your heart. Just breathing into the front side of your body here. Close down your eyes and notice how this pose really encourages your breath to come all the way up to your collarbones. And as you exhale, just releasing your exhale down as low as you can, settling into your tailbone, your hips. We'll be here for a few more cycles of breath, and staying just like this is wonderful. Unless you like to add variations where you step your feet closer together and then straighten your right leg up toward the ceiling. You could point and flex your foot, make some circles with your ankle. And then releasing your right foot down so you can switch sides, bend your left knee in towards your torso so you can straighten your left leg up. Again, point and flex your foot, spread your toes wide apart. And you can always return your left foot back down to the ground, or maybe bring your right leg back up, just connecting to that sensation of a waterfall flowing down the backs of your legs. And we'll slowly begin to lower the feet back down if they're lifted, coming into your supported bridge pose with your feet on the earth. And then begin to press your feet down so you can lift your hips up above the block. Grab the block and keep your hips lifted as you move your block to the side. And then bring your arms up alongside your ears with your palms facing up. Take an inhale breath. As you exhale, slowly begin to lower one vertebrae at a time, tailbone last. And then release your arms down to your sides. Drop your knee bones in so that they touch each other, and then walk your feet out to the edges of your mat so your pinky toes are near the edges of your mat. And then place your right hand on your lower belly, your left hand on your heart. Take a deep full breath, inhale through your nose. And then open your mouth and sigh your exhale out, just taking a few moments here to breathe into that soft space that surrounds the heart. Feel like you're radiating out all this calmness and peace that you've created with each and every breath that you take. And we'll begin to bring the knees back into the torso, wrapping your arms around your shins or sliding the hands beneath the knees. And then we'll come into a full happy baby pose, that upside down squat where the soles of your feet are facing the ceiling. Stack your heels over your bent knees and then bring your elbows on the inside of your knees. Reach around and grab the outside of your shins, ankles, or maybe the outside edges of your feet. As you continue to flex your feet, feel that gentle pull toward the earth. And then check in with your jaw and your neck here. It might feel good to grab a block and place it underneath your head, especially if your head's not on the ground. You might gently rock side to side. Again, just release into your lower spine, tip your sit bones down. Be here for one more breath. And then as you exhale, begin to bring your knees back into your torso, hugging them in. And you can stay just like this, or you might try lifting your head and shoulders so that you can tuck into a tiny little ball, grabbing opposite elbows. If you're doing that, squeeze everything in as tight as you can. Take an inhale breath and then keep squeezing. As you exhale, lower your shoulders and your head back down. Release the length of your spine into the mat and tip your sit bones down. And then only release your left foot down to the ground, and we'll move into full thread the needle this time. So stack your right ankle on top of your left knee, pick up your left foot so you can bring your left knee closer, and then reach through the keyhole and interlace your fingers behind the left knee or on top of the left shin. Keep flexing your right foot, feeling your right knee move away from you. Be here for one more breath. And as you exhale, begin to release and just switch sides. So drop your right foot down so you can stack your left ankle on top of your right knee. Bring your right knee closer so you can reach to the keyhole and interlace behind your right knee or on top of your right shin. As you flex your left foot, relax the tops of your shoulders down away from your ears as you melt into the backside of your body. Be here for one more breath. And then as you release, just hug your knees in a final time, gently rock side to side. And then straighten your legs out long onto your mat. Release your arms down to your sides with your palms facing up. Take a deep, full breath, inhale through your nose. And then open your mouth and sigh your exhale out. Just sinking into the support of the earth here. We'll move into our final relaxation, Shavasana. So feeling all of that sensation of relaxing around your facial muscles. Relax your cheeks. Feel like they're sliding towards your ears. Just relax at your jaw. You might open your mouth to unhinge your jaw and then move it side to side. Swallow to relax the back of your throat. Just noticing how this helps you relax the back of your neck and release the tops of your shoulders down. Sending your exhale down into the low belly, noticing how open and free your lower hips feel, your lower back, as you release completely into relaxation down the length of your legs and out through the tips of your toes.
Staying exactly as you are, slowly begin to bring your awareness back into your breath. Feel like you're pulling your inhale through the front side of your body and releasing your exhale down the length of your back body, feeling the support of the earth beneath you. Maybe choosing some small movements like wiggling out your fingers and your toes, or reaching your arms above your head. When you feel ready, rolling onto your right side and curling into yourself for a few more deep belly breaths. And then pressing your left hand into the earth, return to a comfortable seated position, possibly up on some support, and we'll close our time together. And then bringing your hands back into Anjali Mudra. Take an inhale breath through the nose. And then open your mouth and sigh your exhale out, gently bowing the chin. Just feeling that connection to this beautiful place in your heart space, knowing you can use it as you move through the rest of your evening. We'll close by singing a single Om. Take an inhale breath. Om. Thank you all for being here with me today. Namaste. Thank you all. I made it through my first live stream.